Tonight on Y News, President Rodrigo Duterte reaffirms that he is for the reimposition of the death penalty for illegal drugs, heinous crimes, and plunder. Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano formally elected as the House Speaker of the 18th Congress. Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III retains his post as Senate President. Thousands of anti- and pro-Duterte protesters brave a rainy SONA day. And fighting Senator Manny Pacman Pacquiao claims WBA super welterweight champion title from USA's Keith one-time Thurman. Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte highlights death penalty, resolving corruption, and anti-illegal drugs and West Philippine Sea issue in his fourth State of the Nation address, or SONA. From the House of Representatives, Rosalie Cos will tell us why live. Rosalie, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Diego. President Rodrigo Duterte's speech for his fourth State of the Nation address lasted for about an hour and 33 minutes. Just as expected, he mentioned several issues that are his priorities for his remaining term, as well as controversial issues his administration faces. President Duterte urged the Congress to pass a bill that will reinstate death penalty for heinous crimes related to anti-illegal drugs as well as plunder. Meanwhile, he also called on the Congress to pass the Magna Carta for barangays and postpone the May 2020 barangay elections for October 2020. He gave ultimatum to particular government agencies as well as local government units to simplify the process for the people. He admitted corruption is still pervasive in the government, but the chief executive said he will end his term fighting. He also promised to pass the salary increases for government workers as well as teachers and nurses. On the issue of the West Philippine Sea, the president insisted on the diplomatic negotiations with China, as he is not ready for distraction by sending his soldiers and policemen to West Philippine Sea. As for the others, he also mentioned about his desire for faster Bangsamoro transition. He vowed to crack down on polluters of environment. He also reiterated his desire for the establishment of the Department of Overseas Filipino Workers to attend to the needs of the OFWs. On the other hand, President Duterte tells Metro Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, as well as the local government units in Metro Manila to reclaim public roads used for private purposes. Diego, on his legislative agenda, President Duterte, for his last 3 years in his administration, urged the lawmakers to pass the remaining tax reform package, as well as the right-sizing of the national government, measures that will address water shortage and fire protection, as well as the National Land Use Act. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Rosalie Cos, reporting live from the House of Representatives. Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III has retained his post as Senate President after a majority of senators voted for him at the start of the first regular session of the 18th Congress on Monday. During the opening of the session, lawmakers voted viva voce to support his continuing leadership in the upper chamber of Congress. Viva voce voting is done, where lawmakers will shout aye for their bet. Also re-elected are Senator Ralph Recto as Senate President pro tempore and Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri as Majority Floor Leader. Minority Leader Franklin Drilon will also continue leading the opposition bloc. 22 senators were present during the opening of the session. Absent were Senator Manny Pacquiao, who is still in Las Vegas, Nevada, after his boxing bout with Keith Thurman, and Senator Laila de Lima, who is detained at the Philippine National Police Custodial Center. After the voting, Sotto led the oath-taking of newly elected senators. During his fourth State of the Nation address today, President Rodrigo Duterte aired his disappointment on the alleged corruption that occurred in Philhealth. The chief executive also called on other agencies to improve their services by simplifying government transactions. From the House of Representatives, April Senadoza will tell us why live. April, go ahead.
Good evening, Diego. Grossly disappointed. This is what President Rodrigo Duterte said on the alleged corruption at the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or Philhealth, during his fourth State of the Nation address here at the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City. Diego, in his speech, the president says the massive fraud perpetrated against Philhealth proves that corruption is pervasive. Following the directive of the president, it can be noted the National Bureau of Investigation filed criminal complaints against WellMed Dialysis Center owner Dr. Brian C. and other executives involved in ghost dialysis scam. The dialysis center allegedly received payment claims from Philhealth for dialysis treatments of dead patients. Following this, the chief executive commends the NBI for handling high-profile cases, as well as the arrest and prosecution of criminals. Tackling the ease of doing business law, Duterte says this is a significant piece to improve delivery of government service. The president named the 5 top agencies that need to drastically improve their services. These include the Land Transportation Office, Bureau of Internal Revenue, Social Security System, Pag-ibig, and Land Registration Authority. He even threatened government agencies, simplify processes, or they can get killed. Moreover, Duterte also directed the Department of Interior and Local Governments and local chief executives that all clearances and permits must be processed at least 3 days. Diego, actually, after the president's speech, we actually asked the response of DILG Secretary Eduardo Anyo, and he actually welcomed the directive of the president regarding these or the prescribed processing time of taking 3 days, these clearances and permits, because it's already stated in the ease of doing business law that simple transactions only take 3 days. Those are the latest here at the Batasang Pambansa. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, April Senadoza, reporting live from Batasang, Pambansa. Thousands of protesters march along Commonwealth Avenue for the United People's SONA to oppose President Rodrigo Duterte's fourth State of the Nation address. Juan Ocson will tell us why.
Militant groups including AITAS from Pampanga and Lumads from Mindanao joined the United People's SONA today. Based on the militant groups' crowd estimates, there are 30,000 people joined the anti-government rally. But before the main program started, heavy rains delayed the protesters marching towards St. Peter's Church on Commonwealth Avenue. But after the rain stopped, the main rally area was immediately filled with various militant groups. Militant leaders appealed to protesters and voiced out their concerns against the current situation of the country against the Duterte administration. The United People's SONA focused on its opposition on President Rodrigo Duterte's stand on the West Philippine Sea issue, human rights issues, and unreasonable economic policy.
Tayo pa nananalo sa International Tribunal, tayo pa yung lumuluhod sa China. Yan ang kataksilan ni Duterte. Tayo ay panalo, pero astang talo tayo.
Former Supreme Court Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno sends a message for the President on his willingness to push for the reinstatement of the death penalty.
Maaring bang bumalik tayo sa basics? Kung baga sa law school, Consti 101, Bill of Rights, Structure of Government. Yung Bill of Rights, tinabi niya lahat. Structure of Government, hari daw siya. Wala namang hari sa bayan natin.
The anti-Duterte protesters' effigy, named Dutersyokoy, was burned down to show their disappointment with President Duterte's administration. After the effigy was burned, the program concluded and protesters dispersed peacefully. Meanwhile, Senator Risa Ontiveros delivered a speech after attending a mass in the St. Peter's Church Commonwealth. Senator Ontiveros said that if given a chance, she would like President Duterte to tackle the direction of the country's foreign policy.
Oo, paano ba talaga niya plano, kung may plano pa siya, planong itaguyod ang soberanya ng Pilipinas? Kung hindi niya napansin, batas na yung boy bastos law. So sana itigil na rin ni Presidente ang mga pambabastos sa kababaihan. Galangin niya at sundin yung batas na sabi nila ay pinirmahan niya.
Traffic was back to normal in the main rally area a few hours after the protesters dispersed. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up to where Angelo Castro III left off. I am Alex Baltazar, and here are the headlines. The Philippine National Police say they have not monitored any threat of attacks from local terrorists for President Rodrigo Duterte's fourth State of the Nation address. Local prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene will be slashed this week. The Philippines plans to introduce Filipino coffee, tea, chocolate drinks to the Russian market. Wish 1075 hailed as Best FM radio station at Animo Media Choice Awards. And fighting, Senator Manny Pacman Pacquiao becomes the oldest welterweight champ in boxing history after beating American Keith one-time Turman. Good evening. The fourth State of the Nation address of President Rodrigo Duterte was very peaceful. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
The National Capital Region Police Office considered the situation outside the Batasang Pambansa during the fourth State of the Nation address of President Rodrigo Duterte as very peaceful. NCRPO Chief Police Major General Guillermo Eleazar says this may be attributed to the series of meetings they had with rally organizers and to the patience of the policemen deployed in Commonwealth area to maintain security.
Wala man lang kahit single untoward incident na na-report o nakita tayo dito. And nakita natin na wala man lang kahit single confrontation between the police at saka dun sa mga nagrarally. Either sila ay protester or sila ay mga supporter. At ito ay na-attribute natin sa pagagandang pag-uusap ng dialogue between the police and the leaders of the group na sumali dito, whether they are anti or pro.
Eleazar adds they received no untoward incidents this day, aside from congested traffic. He points out that they can almost perfect their security measures, but they need to improve their sets of strategies to avoid the traffic congestion.
The room for improvement na kailangan natin ay yung dahil ng trapiko. Hindi lang kasi natin pwedeng alisin dahil talagang traditionally itong mga nagrarally, pinipili nila ang Commonwealth Avenue dahil ito ay maganda para sa kanila. I believe na meron tayong magagawa pang improvement on this.
The NCRPO director also supports the death penalty for convicted drug suspects and plunderers.
With the President sa pronouncement, sumusuporta ang buong kapulisan sa kanyang sinabi. At naniniwala tayo na as long as appropriate safety nets and interventions ng iba pang mga agencies na kasama dito at mapapag-aralan itong death penalty na ito ay maging epektibo at hindi aabusuhin naman ng ating kapulisan or sino man.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
President Rodrigo Duterte insists that West Philippine Sea is ours and will resolve the issue in the right time. The president is determined to resolve the issue in peaceful resolution. From the House of Representatives, Nel Maribuhok will tell us live. Good evening, Nel.
Alex, President Rodrigo Duterte apparently will not change his foreign policy in dealing with China on the West Philippine Sea issue. During his State of the Nation address today, President Duterte reiterated that the country can't afford to go on war with China just to push for the territorial rights of the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea. He said he doesn't want to waste the life of the armies in the war. He pointed out that he will continue to push for the resolution on the issue in peaceful manner. The president seems blamed the past administration in the tensions in the region, particularly the result of standoff between the Philippines and China in Panatag or Scarborough shoal in 2012. President Duterte said the country gave up the Spratlys and Panganiban Reef when the forces retreat in the Panatag Shoal. The president also discussed the June 9 maritime incident in Recto Bank, where a Filipino fishing boat was rammed by a Chinese vessel. He said it did not violate any laws in dealing with the issues. The government, he said, undergone its own investigation in the incident. Also, he did not violate the Constitution at what the critics said about the fisheries agreement with China. The president said the arbitral ruling even states that the Philippines can enter into fishing agreements with other states provided UNCLOS provisions are met. Some senators are divided on President Duterte's stance on the West Philippine Sea.
Hindi niya gustong magkagira para maraming mamamatay, maraming mawala ng asawa, maraming mawala ng father. So, bayaan natin siya sa diskarte niya.
Sino ba naman ang nagsasabing gerahin natin ng China? And speaking of widows and orphans, kung gusto talaga ni Presidente mapigilan na madagdagan ang widows and orphans, pwes tigilin niya ang madugong war on drugs.
For now, we are waiting with other reactions of the senators on the West Philippine Sea issue. Alex?
Thank you, Nel Maribuhok, reporting live from the House of Representatives. President Rodrigo Duterte tackled a wide array of issues currently faced by his administration in his fourth State of the Nation address, or SONA. However, he seemed to leave out an issue that is a big concern for the general public. From Novaliches City, Harleen Delgado explains why. Good evening, Harleen.
Good evening, Alex. Illegal drug war, corruption, and the West Philippine Sea dispute were among the highlights of President Rodrigo Duterte's State of the Nation address, or SONA. However, the issue on country's inflation was not emphasized throughout the president's speech. Vendors here in Bryan Market in Barangay Santa Monica, Novaliches, Quezon City were watching attentively as President Duterte delivered his most anticipated fourth SONA just this afternoon. They were waiting for something to come out of the president's mouth to lay down his plan on the rising prices of basic commodities. However, the topic on inflation was barely touched by the president. Marisa Pabalan, spokesperson of the Bryan Market vendors, expressed disappointment, but still they are hoping that the president will heed their call for lower prices of basic goods.
Malungkot kasi hindi nabanggit sa talumpati ng Pangulo ang aming kahilingan na maibaba ang pangunahing bilihin dito sa palengke. Umaasa pa rin kami na maaaring sa patuloy ng pagserbisyo ni Pangulong Duterte ay matutupad yung aming kahilingan na maibaba ang presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin.
However, she adds they were delighted upon hearing the directive of the president to solve the perennial problem on traffic in the metro, as this also affects them in moving their goods at the market and also their consumers. On the other hand, in relation to basic commodities, President Duterte was able to mention the rice tariffication law, which aims to liberalize rice imports to the country to lower rice prices by flooding rice supply to the markets. Last week, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, o BSP, attributed the food inflation slowdown in the second quarter headline inflation to 3.0% to the decrease in rice prices in the recent months. On the other hand, Alex, the president also called on the Congress to pass the remaining packages of the government's comprehensive tax reform program. It can be recalled that the increase in the prices of basic commodities was heavily blamed by many on the package 1 of the tax reform program, commonly known as the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN law, signed in 2017, which reduces personal income tax, but it imposes higher excise tax on basic goods such as fuel and sugary products. And that's the latest here in Quezon City. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Harleen Delgado, reporting live from Novaliches, Quezon City. After President Rodrigo Duterte State of the Nation address in which he also highlighted the traffic situation in Metro Manila, DILG Secretary Eduardo Año will take another step to heed to the President's call. From the House of Representatives, Joa Nano will tell us live. Good evening, Joa Nano.
Yes, good evening, Alex. In response to President Rodrigo Duterte's order to address the traffic congestion in Metro Manila, Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año says that he will meet soon with the officials of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA, along with the 17 mayors of Metro Manila, to tackle various steps or plans on how to address this worsening problem resulting to billions of pesos lost in our economy. The DILG Secretary says he wants to know the existing ordinances in various cities in Metro Manila resulting to obstruction of traffic and is not in accordance with the policies of the MMDA. He also wants to visit those city ordinances, and once proven that they contribute to the traffic congestion, he is determined to revoke those regulations. The official also says that he will take a look at all secondary roads that can be utilized as alternate routes. According to Secretary Año, he will look into some private properties such as subdivisions that can be used as secondary roads even just during rush hours just to ease traffic. He also mentioned he will review the existing color coding scheme being implemented in various cities and says that he wanted to make them uniform. Año also points out that he wanted to strictly impose and strengthen the anti-illegal parking campaign to remove all illegally parked vehicles along the roads that primarily contribute to the worsening traffic situation. Let us hear the statement of DILG Secretary Eduardo Año.
Kayang-kaya naman paluwagin yung mga kalsada na yan. So mag-uusap yung MMDA, yung 17 mayors ng NCR para gumawa tayo ng isang siguradong plano na implementable to ease traffic.
Secretary Año also vows to meet the mayors of Metro Manila to discuss how to fast-track the processing or release of several permits from their respective offices following President Duterte's directive to the mayors to release all clearances and permits within 3 days. And that is the latest live here from the House of Representatives. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Joa Nano, reporting live from the House of Representatives. Local prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene will be slashed this week. In separate advisories, oil firms Sea Oil and Philippine Shell Petroleum said they will roll back the prices of gasoline by 25 centavos a liter and kerosene by 40 centavos. Petrogas will also implement the same price adjustment on kerosene. Oil companies are set to impose the price rollback on Tuesday at 6 a.m. Other oil companies have yet to announce price adjustments for this week. The looming price cut comes after 4 consecutive weeks of pump price hikes. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso on Monday dismissed from post the Manila Traffic and Parking Bureau or MTBP enforcer who was caught in the act of extortion on CCTV. This was after a netizen posted on her Facebook account an enforcer who seemed to be extorting money from a motorist. Seen on the video was the companion of the motorist who was counting money to be given to the said enforcer. During Monday's flag raising ceremony at the Manila City Hall, Moreno warned the MTBP that the whole team will be sacked if they will not present the said enforcer to him. The group then presented Ricardo Galit, the enforcer seen on the video, to the office of the mayor at around noon. Moreno confiscated Galit's ID and vest bearing the insignia of the MTBP. The local chief executive stressed that Galit will never get the chance to once again be part of the MTBP and that he will be facing charges for his illegal activity. Wishcovery Season 3, dubbed as Wishcovery Originals, continue to Wishcover singers-songwriters in the provinces. And in Bacolod City, auditionees say that the biggest online singing competition in the Philippines paves way for the indie singers-songwriters to be known. Lalaine Moreno tells us why.
From Cebu City and Iloilo City, the Wish Bus rolled to Bacolod City for the continuing Wishcovery Season 3 on-ground auditions in Visayas and Mindanao. During the auditions that run from July 15 to 17 at the Corte area, Capital Central, Locals in the City of Smiles were amazed not just to see the one-of-a-kind FM station on wheels, but also to discover scores of aspiring singer-songwriters among them. The auditionists themselves were thrilled to get to perform the originals on board the Wish Bus with state-of-the-art equipment. For avid wisher Rafael Miraflores, who came to the venue as early as 3 a.m. as an auditionee, Wishcovery paves way to influence the new generation through music.
This is only audition but na-showcase mo ang talent mo para sa mga tao, kag sa mga maka-influensya kagid sa mga new generation.
For the duo Cyril and Jarwin, being able to sing their own composition feels different, especially with Wish.
For me, ang Wish, mas naku opportunity ka ikaw yung mismong artist ang makita nila. Like sa other competition, na mas kailangan kanta pero ang ma-interpret lain yung artist. So that's why just yung Wish gida naku yung opportunity.
For the bands Kalamay-Hati and Else, Wishcovery gives an avenue for starting bands to rise and be known.
Ngayon na may Wishcovery, nagkakaroon kami ng chance na small indie artist para ma-discover pa namin kung sino-sino dito sa Bacolod ang mga sumusulat. Kasi para sa akin mahalaga na magkakakilala rin kami to provide support system to one another.
Social media nowadays is the main tool in para mapalago mo yung music mo. So knowing Wish, so this is siguro a good head start for us.
While singing group Super G also thanked Wishcover's visit to Bacolod City, and they got a chance to perform a traditional Filipino-sounding original.
Talagang sinadya kong buuin ito para bumalik naman ang mga... Kasi kapag marinig ko itong mga awit na ito, parang nasa isang probinsya ako ba, sa isang baryo. Happy talaga ako.
Wishcovery Originals on-ground auditions continue on August 6 to 8 in Cagayan de Oro City, August 11 to 13 in Butuan City, and August 19 to 21 in Davao City. Registration time is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wishcovery Season 3 is open to all Filipino solos, duos, groups or bands 18 years old and above. Join Wishcovery Originals and get a chance to win 1 million pesos in cash, a recording contract worth 1 million pesos, a house and lot, and a brand new car. For more details, visit Wish 1075's website. Lelaine Moreno, UNTV News and Rescue.
As Wish 1075 continues to pioneer various innovations and bring music of different genres, another award-giving body hails Wish 1075 as the best FM radio station. Here's Asher Kadapan Jr. to tell us why.
Various award-giving bodies have recognized the one-of-a-kind innovation of the digital radio station Wish 1075 when it comes to music presentation. And once again,
and the best FM radio station is Wish 1075.
Wish 1075 was hailed the best FM radio station in the Animo Media Choice Awards held in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, Cavite on July 20.
Basically, it's because of the type of music that they play, the DJs that they have, their words, all of them are so wholesome, decent in nature, and that's what we are after.
Kasi kahit saan nga po ako mapunta sa jeep lagi ko naririnig Wish 107 yan. Sa office, lagi Wish 107 yan. Kaya yun yung binote ko, kilala ko siya. Tsaka ang ganda ng mga music, yung mga updated na music, yung mga bago, yun naririnig ko doon.
Wish 1075 presents songs that inspire music lovers in the Philippines and abroad.
Wish 1075.
Ngayon at kailanman. From heartwarming songs of the recent decades.
Paminsan-minsan ang alaala mo'y
to modern songs of the new generation.
Baby, pauwi na ako. Baby, pauwi na ako. No, no.
Very updated yung mga songs and magaganda and magagaling po yung artist. And we hope na minsan mapadaan din dito para marinig namin sila ng live.
Wish 1075 also showcases trending Wish-exclusive videos of local and international acts on board the Wish bus, the first of its kind in the country.
What can you hold?
mas natatangkilik yung OPM songs ngayon, just like before, mga international yung pumapasok sa atin. So, nag-enjoy ako sa mga OPM ngayon, this generation na.
This is why wishers of all ages are thrilled to get on and take photos with the iconic FM station on wheels.
Gusto ko yung nagsasalita ng Wish 107.
Oo, napaka-mellow niya talaga, oo. Ang ganda ng boses niya, oo. Habang nagto-travel ka, ang sarap ng pakinggan.
And to give back to wishers their support, Wish 1075 promises to continue delivering unique innovations and concepts, especially on its 5th anniversary in August.
Yeah, first of all, to God be the glory, and actually sobrang blessing nito. This is for the nth time we've been recognized, and it's really humbling to be part of this family. Wish FM, baby.
Of course, it doesn't end here. Actually, Wish 1075 is spending its 5th anniversary this August, and they are going to expect a month-long celebration. So there are going to be lots of ways for us to give back to our dearest wishers.
Even Wish 1075 YouTube channel continues to break boundaries with over 6 million subscribers and counting, and more than 2 billion views since it first took to the social media platform in 2014. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. Members of the House of Representatives have formally elected Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano as their next leader when the regular session of the 18th Congress opened today. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
With a vote of 266, Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano defeated his lone opponent for Speaker, Manila Representative Bienvenido Benny Abante, who only received 28 votes. 2 Solons abstained, while 1 voted no to either nominations. During the election, Cayetano was nominated by his former speakership rivals, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco.
Alan Peter Cayetano. Maraming salamat.
Later Representative Martin Romualdez and Davao City Representative Paulo Duterte. Abante was nominated by Iloilo Representative Janet Garin and the Co-Bicol Party List Representative Alfredo Garbin. President Rodrigo Duterte earlier endorsed Cayetano's bid for speakership, who will share the term with Velasco. The president proposed that Cayetano lead the House for 15 months and be succeeded by Velasco for the remaining 21 months. Cayetano vowed to uphold the term-sharing agreement. The newly elected speaker also assured that the House of Representatives, under his helm, will be a partner of the Duterte administration. Aside from his assurance to remain as the Duterte administration's ally, Cayetano also called on House members to unite and to do what is right. Still in line with the president's endorsement, Romualdez was elected on Monday as House Majority Leader. Meanwhile, presidential son Paulo was elected as one of the elected deputy speakers of the House of Representatives, along with Representatives Ferdinand Hernandez, Evelina Escudero, Lauren Legarda, Conrad Estrella III, Prospero Pichay Jr., Roberto Puno, Eduardo Villanueva, Aurelio Gonzalez Jr., Johnny Pimentel, and Luis Raymond Villafuerte. Davao City 3rd District Representative Isidro Ungab was elected as chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, while Cavite Representative Abraham Tolentino was voted as chairman of the Committee on Accounts. The lower house also elected Jose Luis Montales as Secretary General and retired General Ramon Apolinario as Sergeant-at-Arms. The election for speakership inside the House Plenary Hall this year did not have any ruckus compared to last year after House members ousted then Speaker Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez and replaced him with then Pampanga Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Last year's speakership squabble delayed Duterte's third State of the Nation address by an hour. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The pro-Duterte supporters watched together the State of the Nation address of President Duterte. They were somehow satisfied with the president's SONA. From Commonwealth, Quezon City, Aiko Miguel will tell us why live. Yes, Aiko, good evening.
Yes, Will, good evening. The Dutertes program was delayed this afternoon because of the heavy rainfall. The supporters did not expect it would rain hard, so most of them were drenched in the rain. Well, at past 3 in the afternoon, the supporters gathered again to wait for the State of the Nation address of President Duterte. Before the SONA of President Duterte started, they were gathered again in one place to listen to him. These groups are from different cities in the national capital region and even in different provinces. These groups are for or friends of Rodi Duterte from different cities. Koalisyon ng Maralita, D4 Movement for Federalism, Alliance Reform Philippines, Hugpong ng Pagbabago Movement Incorporated, United Defenders of Democracy, and the ACT CIS. They were hoping that the president will meet them after his SONA. The groups were satisfied to hear about the war on drugs and alleviating plunder and corruption. They call on the opposition to at least cooperate with the president's call for change and reform. Compared to the last SONA whale of the president, this is more organized. They even managed to clean their trash after using the area. Well, there were also more than 1,000 policemen who guarded the area where the pro-Duterte groups gathered to secure the safety of the area. That's the latest update, Will. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Aiko Miguel, live from Commonwealth, Quezon City. Meanwhile, forensic experts extracted bones from 2 ossuaries within the walls of the Vatican on Saturday as part of an ongoing investigation aimed at resolving the case of a girl who vanished in 1983. Jovic Burmas explains why.
Forensic workers extracted thousands of bones from the burial chambers that are believed to belong to dozens of people on Saturday. The Vatican did not speculate about who the bones may belong to, but a representative for the family of Emanuela Orlandi was present when the extraction took place. The bones will now undergo DNA testing to establish their identities, and a Vatican representative said it's impossible to predict how long the analysis will take. However, as Emanuela Orlandi's brother pointed out, if there are any recent bones among the find, it will be a problem for the Vatican. The search for the daughter of a Vatican clerk who went missing 36 years ago has been fraught with peculiar twists and turns. The latest taking place on July 11th, when an anonymous tip-off sparked a search of tombs where 2 19th century princesses were believed to be buried. However, the tombs were found to be completely empty, with no bones from either Orlandi nor the 2 princesses who died in the mid-1800s. Last week, Vatican officials announced that records show construction work carried out on the cemetery at the end of the 19th century and again about 6 years ago might have led to the princess's bones being moved to the ossuaries located under a trapdoor of the Pontifical Teutonic College, which flanks the graveyard. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue.
The country rejoices once again as the People's Champ and 8th Division World Champion Senator Manny Pacquiao emerged victorious in a historic fight against USA's Keith "one-time" Thurman. For many, this winning feat shows that Pacman's boxing prowess has still something to prove even to a challenger a decade his junior. Arlene Delgado reports why.
It was a glorious day for all Filipinos as People's Champ Manny Pacquiao brought another honor for the Philippines by winning against American boxer Keith "one-time" Thurman. The Filipino legend claimed the WBA Super Welterweight Champion title from Thurman via split decision during their bout at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada on Sunday, Manila time. After the fight, Pacquiao said that he considers the American boxer as one of the strongest opponents he has ever fought in his boxing career.
This guy is a warrior. I can say that because I've been fighting a lot of opponents, and this guy is heavy-handed, man. It's kind of opponent that you can underestimate. So, but thank you. I mean, of the support, because I did my hard work training for this fight. I think I just blessed.
You know, I really think that I could have pulled the fight closer to a draw without that body shot, because the later rounds were definitely starting to go my way. But you know, there's many times in the sport of boxing where one fight changes the course of the outcome. So for me, he started with the knockdown in the first and that body shot there later, and it was hard to convince the judges that I did enough.
Despite this, Pacquiao and Thurman both affirmed that their respective careers will continue after the fight.
I can still fight. I can give a good fight. I can entertain the fans. This is, you know, the ability that I have. This is not my own, but God gave me this ability to continue my career for a purpose. And I believe that I'm here to inspire the fans, inspire the people of boxing.
Meanwhile, Filipino supporters could not help but shout their hearts out as they cheer for the victory. Wounded soldiers of the Philippine Army even watched the fight despite their ailing bodies.
Napakasaya nung napanood ko sa laban ni Manny Pacquiao dahil nanalo yung ating senator sa laban niya. Sulit yung kanya, pinakita.
Sana yung makalaban na next time, wag nang magmayabang. Baka nakakahiya na naman. Yun lang po.
The palace, for its part, also commends the people champ. Pacquiao's colleagues at the Senate, meanwhile, took to the social media to greet the boxing senator. With the win, 40-year-old Pacman is now the oldest welterweight champion in boxing history. Currently, Pacquiao has a record of 62 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws, while Thurman's record has been tainted after this defeat, now with 29 wins and 1 loss. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this July 22nd, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening, everyone.